Good morning. I'm Sarah Chronister, also known as Cyberprofe. There is something I want to get off my chest. So in this video, let's talk about accents. Now, I am not, as you can tell, I am not a native Spanish speaker. Born and raised here in the United States, but I spent the last almost 2 decades learning Spanish, trying to improve my accent, and people still look down on me. I am self-conscious about my accent. For the longest time, I didn't want to talk to anybody because I knew I didn't sound like a native speaker. I started making videos for my students on YouTube, and teachers from around the country have started watching them, and people learning Spanish have started watching them. But I have also had teachers come to me and tell me, I won't show your videos in my classroom because you don't sound like a native speaker. Well, besides being hurtful, I know I have an accent, but why don't we embrace that not everybody's going to sound like a native speaker, especially here in the United States, where, according to a Washington Post survey 2 years ago, only about 20% of Americans are able to converse in a second language. So why don't we celebrate when somebody tries to speak a second language instead of putting them down because they don't sound like a native? I would challenge us as Spanish teachers to loosen our self-imposed rules on our students. Let's instead encourage them to speak the language, even if they're going to make mistakes, even if they're not going to sound like a native teacher or a native speaker. When I was in Costa Rica, and I know a lot of my videos right now are about Costa Rica, it's a great place, you should go. As I was traveling around Costa Rica, I learned quickly as an introvert that one of the almost foolproof ways to start a conversation with people is to talk about accents. There are so many unique Spanish accents with 21 Spanish-speaking countries, and of course within those countries there's going to be regional dialects. It was always fun. Everybody always had an opinion on accents. And my teacher in Costa Rica said that, to my surprise, the rest of the Latin American countries look down on them and call them gringos. The accent in Costa Rica is slower. It's more the speed of English, and they tend to pronounce most of their consonants. Sometimes it's just a suggestion. And their skin color also tends to be lighter in general than the rest of the Latin American countries. And I was just floored. I mean, not only am I seeing Spanish speakers judging everybody because the accent they hear isn't the accent from their home country, but now they're even judging within the Spanish community the accents. And I mean, you wouldn't think accents would be such a hot topic, but I really think as Spanish teachers and just by people learning to speak Spanish in general, just we need to take a deep breath, take a breather, take a step back and learn to acknowledge the people who are trying to speak the language and not criticize them that they don't sound like a native speaker. For instance, there's a YouTube channel right now called Why Not Spanish. I love this YouTube channel. There's a guy on there named Cody. He is, I believe, boyfriend with the woman who started the channel, and he decided he's from the United States, and I'm going to guess from his accent that it's Texas. Well, he decided to not really have a spin-off, but to just talk about what it was like to move from the United States to Colombia and try to fit in as a Spanish speaker. And he did these videos in Spanish. He quickly stopped doing the videos because he was literally getting hate mail for his accent. So instead of supporting him and instead of being joyful for him that he was trying to expand his horizons and get out there and use his Spanish, he was getting hate mail because he sounded like an American speaking Spanish. I'm always working on improving my accent. Of course, I don't want to sound like Peggy Hill from that one cartoon show a couple years ago. And I do know, like, as I work towards sounding more natural, I do know that I need to drop my consonants, that Americans tend to overpronounce the consonants. So when I first got to Costa Rica, if I wanted to say thanks for everything, I would say gracias por todo or gracias por todo. But by the time I left Costa Rica, I was saying, gracias por todo. Like, we don't need the D. Just like think about the D, but you don't really need to say it. But no matter if I said it gracias por todo or gracias por todo, I was understood. I was always understood. Accents are just kind of a hot topic for me just because I've put myself out there in the YouTube world and I've gotten some comments about my accents and about how, certain teachers just absolutely wouldn't show that because I'm not a native speaker. I've also gotten some really nice comments as well. And I challenge you to just embrace, if you're a Spanish learner, embrace your accent. People in the Spanish world, they're going to understand you. If you're a Spanish teacher, I challenge you to loosen up a little on what you think of as should be the correct accent. Let your students learn like little kids. Let them make mistakes. Let them laugh at themselves a little bit. Don't correct them all the time. Just let them learn to love what they're doing. Okay, so accents. Specifically accents in the classroom, but more generalized accents out there in the world. Hot topic for me, but what do you think about it? Have you ever had anybody make fun of you for your accent? Have you found that your accent is not an impediment to traveling the world, that most people can understand you? Just comment below and let me know. I'm really interested to hear what your thoughts on this. Adios.